Hello, master of your own mind. Tell me, how many times have you wasted precious energy arguing, defending yourself, or trying to convince someone who never really wanted to listen? Today, I want to give you something different, something powerful. But before we go deeper, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe. Not because I said so, but because this space is about uncovering truths most people will never dare to explore, and you don't want to miss the next revelation. We live in a world where everyone is waiting to trigger you, to push your buttons to see you explode. Some do it consciously, others unconsciously, but the result is the same. If you react, you lose. When you argue, when you get angry, when you let yourself be offended, you are handing over your most valuable possession, your control. That's why the first secret is simple, but deadly effective. Stop playing their game. Don't argue. Don't show rage. Don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you broken. Instead, do the one thing that destabilizes anyone who tries to manipulate you. Stay calm, unnervingly calm. Imagine this. A man walks into a room full of sharks. Everyone is waiting for him to bleed so they can tear him apart. But he doesn't bleed. He doesn't move the way they expect. He walks slowly, confidently, almost smiling. The sharks circle, frustrated, confused. That's you when you refuse to argue, when you don't fall into the trap of reacting. You're the person who leaves everyone else wondering, why can't I control him? That single moment of calm is enough to tilt the balance of power entirely in your favor. Because here's the truth. When someone tries to provoke you, what they are really doing is searching for a handle to grab onto, a weakness to exploit. The second you argue, they know where to push. The second you get offended, they see your wound. The second you get angry, they know they own your emotions. But if you remain a wall, silent, calm, unreadable, you give them nothing. And nothing is terrifying. Think about the last time someone tried to provoke you. Maybe it was a coworker making a sarcastic comment in a meeting. Maybe it was a friend who disguised criticism as a joke. Or maybe it was a stranger online, dropping venom just to see if you would bite. In that instant, your body wanted to react. Your heart rate spiked, your jaw tightened, words rushed into your mind ready to fire back. That's biology. But here's the trick. Biology is not destiny. The one who pauses, the one who observes, instead of reacting, becomes untouchable. This is where psychology merges with strategy. In the art of war, the strongest fighter is not always the fastest or the loudest, but the one who controls the rhythm of the battle. By not arguing, by not showing anger, by not being offended, you are shifting the rhythm in your favor. You force the other person into silence, into discomfort, because their weapon is useless against you. They swing and miss, over and over again. Picture it like this. Two chess players sit down to play. One rushes, moves fast, slams pieces down, tries to intimidate. The other sits back, calm, even smiling slightly, moving pieces with deliberate patience. Who do you think ends up controlling the board? The calm one, always, not because they move more, but because they move better. That's what you're doing when you refuse to argue. You're playing life like chess, not checkers. And here's where it gets interesting. Silence and calmness are not empty responses. They are active tools. Every second you don't react, you are speaking louder than any argument could. You are saying without words, I am stronger than this situation. I am not available for your games. And that message, It cuts deeper than any insult you could ever throw back. Now let me tell you a story. Years ago, there was a negotiator known for his eerie composure. He was sent into rooms where tempers flared, where people screamed, threatened, even pounded the table. And what did he do? He never raised his voice. He never argued. He never let himself look insulted. He would sit, still as stone, letting the storm crash around him. And then, when everyone else was exhausted from their own chaos, he would speak, softly, slowly, with precision. People listened. They leaned in. Why? Because calmness is power, and power attracts attention. The same principle applies in everyday life. When someone throws words like daggers at you, they expect blood. They expect a reaction. But when there is none, when your eyes remain steady and your voice remains even, you turn the dagger back on them. Suddenly, their weapon looks ridiculous. Suddenly, they are the ones exposed. And here's something fascinating. The human brain hates uncertainty. When you don't argue, when you don't get offended, you become unpredictable. The other person is left wondering what you're thinking, what you're planning, what you'll do next. That silence eats at them. It forces them to reveal more, to make mistakes, to show the cracks in their own mask. You, by doing less, are actually gaining more. Most people believe strength is about volume. Who can shout the loudest? Who can win the argument with words? But real strength? It's about presence. The presence that makes a room pause when you walk in. The presence that makes your enemies rethink their strategy. And that presence is built in the moments when you refuse to react the way they expect. There's a hidden advantage here that most people never see. By refusing to argue, by not letting anger or offense show, you're not just protecting yourself, you're collecting information. While the other person is busy trying to get under your skin, you're quietly observing their tone, their choice of words, their body language. All of it reveals more about them than they realize. You become a strategist, not a participant. Think about predators in the wild. The lion doesn't roar at every gazelle it sees. It waits, it studies, it calculates. That patience is not weakness, it's deadly intelligence. And when the moment comes, the lion acts with precision. That's exactly what happens when you remain calm in the face of provocation. You're not surrendering, you're storing power for the exact moment you choose to use it. Here's the irony. People who try to provoke you are desperate for control. They thrive on emotional chaos because it levels the playing field. But if you stay calm, you remove their playground. It's like taking away a bully's audience. Without your reaction, they shrink. They look foolish. They lose their grip. And you walk away not just unharmed, but elevated, untouchable. What most don't realize is that silence, restraint, and calmness are forms of dominance. When you refuse to argue, you're not being passive. You're rewriting the rules of the interaction. You're saying, "We'll play on my terms, not yours." And nothing unsettles a manipulator more than realizing they are no longer the one pulling the strings. There's another dimension to this that goes beyond psychology. It touches something primal. Humans are wired to mirror each other. If someone shouts, you feel the urge to shout back. If someone laughs, you want to laugh too. But when you break that pattern, when you refuse to mirror anger with anger, you disrupt the script. That disruption creates tension, and tension always draws attention. Suddenly, you're not the predictable actor in their play. You've become the director of the scene. Picture a heated argument in a crowded place. One person is red-faced, yelling, gesturing wildly. The other stands still, eyes calm, voice quiet. Where do the eyes of the crowd go? Not to the loud one. They drift, almost magnetically, to the calm one. Because calmness in chaos is rare. It radiates authority. And authority, even unspoken, commands respect. Here's the twist. People often confuse reacting with defending themselves. They think, if I don't argue, I look weak. If I don't show I'm offended, they'll walk over me. But that's an illusion. Strength doesn't need to explain itself. A mountain doesn't argue with the wind, yet it stands unmoved for centuries. In the same way, your refusal to argue, to be angered, to be offended, sends a message louder than any defense. I cannot be shaken. And once you master this, something fascinating happens. The people who once tried to provoke you stop trying. Why? Because they learn quickly that you are not like the others. You don't give them what they want. And when manipulation stops working, manipulators vanish. They look for easier prey. Now imagine this playing out, not just in random arguments, but in the critical moments of your life. When someone questions your worth, when a rival tries to undermine you, when a loved one throws words designed to pierce deep. In those moments, your reaction can either trap you or set you free. The secret is knowing that your silence, your calmness, is not emptiness. It's a weapon sharpened by discipline. Think of great leaders, warriors, or visionaries throughout history. The ones who truly shaped the world were rarely those who screamed the loudest. They were the ones who could stand in the middle of chaos and remain composed, their minds working when everyone else was consumed by fire. That composure is what gave them the clarity to act when the time was right. And here's the beautiful paradox. When you refuse to argue, when you don't take the bait, you're not only disarming others, you're arraigning yourself. Every time you resist the impulse to react, you're forging inner strength. You're building a kind of armor that nothing and no one can pierce. You become a fortress that doesn't just protect, but intimidates. The final layer of this is subtle, but it changes everything. People begin to see you differently. They sense that you are not ordinary, that your control sets you apart. Some will respect you, some will envy you, and some will fear you. But all of them will feel it, that weight of presence that only belongs to those who cannot be provoked. At every corner of life, someone is waiting to test you. A stranger, a rival, sometimes even the people closest to you. They'll throw words like stones, hoping you'll bleed. They'll try to light fires under your skin just to watch you burn. But here is the ultimate truth. When you argue, when you shout, when you let yourself be offended, you are stepping into their trap. You're giving them proof that they can move you. But imagine this instead. You refuse to bite. You refuse to raise your voice. You refuse to give them even a flicker of the reaction they crave. Suddenly they are powerless. Their anger looks foolish. Their insults echo into nothing, and you, calm, unmoved, untouchable, become the one in control. That's not just self-discipline. That's psychological dominance. Think of every great figure who commanded respect. They weren't the ones shouting in chaos. They were the ones who stood firm, their silence louder than 100 arguments. Silence and calmness are not passive. They are weapons sharper than any blade. Because while others exhaust themselves trying to shake you, you conserve your power. You grow stronger. And strength, real strength, does not explain itself. It simply stands. This is where you rise above the noise of the world, where manipulators, bullies, critics, and even enemies begin to hesitate, because they realize they can't control you, they can't offend you, they can't break you. That is the point where you stop being ordinary. You become something else, something unshakable. And the beauty of this is simple. Once you master it, you'll carry it everywhere. At work, in relationships, in conflicts, in negotiations. People will feel it. They'll sense that there's something different about you. Some will respect it, some will fear it, but none will ever forget it. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, don't argue. Don't get angry. Don't let yourself be offended. Just remember what true power looks like. It looks like composure in chaos. It looks like silence when others expect a storm. It looks like you, standing calm while the world spins out of control. If this spoke to you, then you're not just another viewer. You're someone ready to step into mastery, to walk through life with presence and power most people will never understand. And that's why I invite you now. Hit that like button, subscribe, and stay close. Because here, we go far beyond the surface. We uncover the hidden weapons of psychology, the secrets of control, and the dark truths that give you the advantage. This isn't entertainment. This is transformation. And if you're ready to own that transformation, then welcome. You've already taken the first step.